in an effort to gain some subscribers in order to be able to do some things with my YouTube channel that I can't do right now because of lack of subscribers. I'm going to start doing what's known as reaction videos. I've seen this as a trend on YouTube where you see people reacting to movies, songs, TV shows, and other videos. So I'm going to do that, but I'm going to do that with the genre having to do with quantum grammar and maybe conspiracy theories and things like that, and see how people like that, and see if I can grow the channel that way. Keep in mind, this is a channel of opinion. It's opinion and fiction seen through the lens, my lens, of correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, and grammar. So I hope you enjoy this. This is my first quote-unquote reaction video.
Okay. I discovered that the medieval courts and, shall we say, aristocrats would have what they call freaks, like some rich people would have zoos. And these freaks, I discovered, and I'm sorry to use these words, the word freak,
I forgive you.
is that they were actually manufactured. Some of them, like for example, like to collect human beings that look like Chinese vases. And what they would do,
so what you see here,
they would actually put the baby
is
when it
right
is
away
born,
using my
even a few months
correct
old,
sentence structure lens
into a vase with the appropriate holes cut out. And the
they're trying to
baby would
find
simply
any
grow
little bit of
into that
evidence
vase
that what he's saying
with hands
is
and
true.
legs and feet
I'm trying to
sticking
verify
out
or
from where the
certify
hole would
what
be
he's
on the
saying.
vase. And they were prized because these children grew up to be vase. And of course, if they don't change it and remold another vase around them, you can imagine they would probably simply die. But essentially, they were manufactured.
And I can't imagine how they would go to the restroom
collecting items
if they had a vase around them.
that was in courts
Interesting.
and in the houses of aristocrats to show off their freak show, like you would show off the zoo.
Definitely a terrible concept, but
in a zoo.
very puzzling also.
The wickedness of a zoo
Puzzling
is
claim.
well known, but the wickedness of what I'm describing is so horrific that all my senses kind of leave me in shock and horror and in a state of terror as to the magnitude of the evil that human beings do, especially those that we now have come to understand as the principalities.
Especially if there's a record of this, if there's evidence of this,
That is one method.
which I look forward
Another method
to this man sharing
say,
at some
having
point.
werewolves and of that nature in court and amongst aristocratic court, part of their collection, is that when you take a baby, because of the stem cells production and the baby is still very fresh, hence if a baby loses a thumb or a finger, it'll grow back. You know, it has what they call rejuvenating ability. What they would do is, with such babies, they would remove the skin of the back. We're talking about no anesthesia, of course, and so on and so forth. And a newly born puppy. And the puppy fur would be grafted on of the removed baby's skin of the back, arms, belly, and these major regions. And what happens is that usually the success rate will be like 1 in 5.
So he's giving a theory on how werewolves were
so that
created.
means 8 of the babies would die and you would have 1 success, depending upon the ratio.
And there does seem to be evidence,
And,
at least a little bit,
minor
as to some of
organ,
what
which is the
truth to what
fur
he's
of
saying
the
here as far as
puppy
regeneration
dog
of skin in
would
infants.
take to the dominant organ of the baby and adapt it as its own. And hence you have a baby that looks like a werewolf, and it is brought up as a werewolf collection among these principalities. These are 2. There is also another one, and there are many others, like mermaids would be born, when they are born, say a young girl, say 3-4 years old, inside of her legs would be, skin would be removed, their legs would be bind, the legs would fuse, her feet would be boarded, so it spreads out like fin, and that will be part of the mermaid collection. It's a manufactured mutation. Another one is babies that look like bubbles, like Michelin Man, as it were. And the way that we'll do that is put the baby in boiling water and just simply
I wonder
put it
how
back out. The skin would heal very quickly because it's a baby.
a mermaid
And of course it will heal
would go
scar
number one.
tissue. The baby will be full of bubbles and so on and so forth. It's a baby with a lot of bubbles around it. And that will also be part of the prize collection. I had the articles all with me, but I hadn't had time to dig it up. And I can't find it on the YouTube either. If these things are very difficult for you to understand and accept because of the mental dissonance that that man.
Okay. So we've just gone through this, and as this man spoke, I've tried to bring up any hint of evidence of what he's saying on Google. Now on Google, it doesn't matter what or how horrible something is, or how remote something is, usually you will find something or some hint of it on Google. I know some people will say that Google censors its searches. But what I've found is that something will come up. And as you could see, as he was speaking, I was looking for evidence of what he was saying. And the most tangible thing that I found was that infants can in fact regenerate organs, limbs, and things like that to an extent. It did say that it cannot regenerate skin, it would just generate scar tissue. But the claim about growing limbs or fingers back, at least fingertips, does seem to have some credence to it. So of course I was waiting for this man to provide a continuance of the evidence for the claims that he's making, because they are, as he says, very horrific claims. So I was waiting for him to provide sources and evidence so that everyone can certify what he's saying, so that it's not just an assumption, presumption, opinion. Not just putting stuff out there for the sake of putting stuff out there, and we have to take his word. And as you just heard, he lost the papers, or he had the papers but he didn't dig them up and can't find them, or whatever he said, which is disappointing, because I really wanted to see if what he was saying was true. And now I either have to operate on an assumption that what he's saying is true, based upon what I know of his character, which on a personal level, I do know some things, and take it or leave it. And as far as this stuff goes, as far as continuing to the evidence, I think I'll leave this one, because I can't find anything on a cursory search that can verify what it is he's saying. Well, I hope you enjoyed this quote-unquote reaction video. And the volition behind what I'm doing here is not to ridicule, condescend, make fun of, or otherwise insult the individuals in the videos that I'm auditing or reacting to, or however you want to call it, giving kuleana to. What I'm doing is showing the viewer how one would use the quantum grammar lens to look at these things, to be critical about the claims that individuals make, especially when evidence is not provided or sources are not given so that the viewer may actually do the research themselves and look things up. What I try to do in my videos, especially on my Quantum Grammar channel, what I do on my Quantum Grammar channel is give a continuance of the evidence showing the knowledge, and knowledge is authority. If one can certify that and verify that, then one can create a tangible fact. If one does not provide evidence, if one does not give a continuance of the evidence or provide sources for what one is saying, verification, well then it's just assumption, presumption, opinion. Basically, if I tell you a story and I don't give you evidence, I don't show you verification or confirmation that the story is true, then I'm just asking you to accept me at my word. And the psychology of correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar is the direct opposite of that. If someone's trying to get you to buy into a story without evidence, that's presumption and assumption. That's just an opinion, just like the fiction system. Thanks for watching, and I hope you will like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and join me next time.